Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This is on your semi-live, tape-delayed, screwed-up network version of TNA Impact Wrestling. The whole 2 hours of my recorded DVR got to the last about 5 to 8 minutes of the program originally scheduled, and then it finally started the actual feed of the program. Thus recording, they said during about 30 minutes into the show, sorry, we're having technical difficulties. Please bear with us. Well, through the entire show, well, this to me is nothing but a more than letdown for TNA, as they've even been bought by Corrigan's company, but still letting Dixie run it. Not much into that. Anyways. And that's why they're losing in the ratings. Well, this is more than TNA wrestling. I'll give you some more indie feds right after the TNA wrestling. Also posted on Facebook.com/Impact Wrestling /videos from Mackenzie Mitchell. Also stating that they're having an issue with the POP Master Controller in Atlanta, Georgia, not TNA themselves. So way to go, Pop TV Network. The downfall of TNA Wrestling. The dark match before Impact saw Chelsea Green from Tough Enough fame defeating former knockout Mickey Moose Knuckles. Next week's Impact Wrestling episode will feature Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy in a 6 Sides of Steel match to end their feud. And Matt said that their feud is not over. You think it was over? Well, it's not, he says. Stay tuned next week or tomorrow night for the spoilers for that one. Well, TNA Impact opens up with former Orlando with a new TNA World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley in the ring. Lashley let the fans get out all their boos. He says he told everyone he would take the title, and he did. He calls himself the most dominant champion TNA has had. He says he's better than everyone in the back and everyone in the crowd. Lashley says he's the best wrestler in the business today. Lashley talks about breaking Kurt Angle and Drew Galloway. He says Gold Rush is tonight, and he holds the gold, and everyone is rushing to get out of the back because they don't want to face him. He's interrupted by EC3. Well, this was just, in my eyes, it was more than just because he already won the tournament back in December, and then they redid it. And now he's got the title again. Well, EC3 hit the ring and challenged Lashley to a title match for tonight. Lashley mocked EC3 and says he's not real. Nothing about him is. Lashley says EC3 isn't even close to being ready for him. Then Lashley says there will be no one left standing, hinting that it could be a last man standing match after he beats EC3 tonight. Well, interruption by Drew Galloway, who lost the title at Slammiversary on Sunday. Using his automatic rematch clause, Galloway says he's still standing and EC3 needs to get to the back of the line because he wants his title back. Lashley says Galloway looks like garbage and he takes pleasure in the fact that he made him look like that. And Drew says he feels and looks like hell. He says they went to war and Lashley beat him, but he sure and as hell didn't break him. Lashley says Galloway will never beat him. Galloway reveals he's using his rematch clause tonight, and that will be the main event. Music hits and we go to Josh Matthews and the Pope. We see TNA King of the Mountain champion Eli Drake, X-Division champion Eddie Edwards, and tag team champions The Decay all backstage as they wait to defend tonight. King of the Mountain title match, Jeff Hardy versus Eli Drake. We go to the ring. Out first comes Jeff Hardy to a pop. We go to a commercial. Back from the break, out comes TNA King of the Mountain champion Eli Drake. Drake takes control early on, but Jeff sends Drake to the floor. Hardy kicks him back in the barrier. Hardy runs the ropes, but misses a drop kick to the floor, and Drake floors him with a clothesline. Drake sends Hardy into the barrier and goes back into the ring as the referee counts. Drake keeps control. Hardy tries to make a comeback, but Drake catches him in a big power slam for a 2 count. Hardy knocks Drake to the floor. Hardy kicks him in the back into the barrier. And then Jeff runs the ropes, but misses his drop kick to the floor, and Drake floors him with a clothesline. Drake sends Jeff into the barrier and then goes back in the ring as the referee counts. Drake keeps control. Hardy tries to make a comeback, but Drake catches him in a big power slam for a 2 count. Hardy knocks Drake down and goes to the top, but Drake crotches him. Drake climbs up for a super back drop, but Hardy elbows him to the mat. Hardy nails Whisperer in the wind for another close fall. Drake springboards in, but Hardy catches him and hits a leg drop and a kick for a 2 count. Jeff rallies, but Drake blocks the twist of fate. Drake nails a power slam for a 2 count. Hardy blocks the blunt force trauma and hits the twist of fate. Hardy goes up top for the swanton and nails it. Hardy covers for the pin, but Matt Hardy rushes the ring and bites Earl Hebner in his hands. Jeff drop kicks Matt as the bell is called for the disqualification finish. And this match to me is Eli Drake's best match for TNA. Well, after the bell, Jeff throws a chair back at Matt as he backs up the ramp with blood in his mouth. Jeff looks back at the ring and Drake, who retains as we go to commercial. Backstage segment with Galloway and EC3 talking about their title shots against Lashley. Galloway says EC3 will get his title shot, but it's going to be against him. Galloway walks off on good terms with EC3. We go back to the ring and Jeff Hardy has a mic. He says he's really beat up after Slammiversary, but he kills himself to hurt his brother to hopefully put an end to their feud. Jeff says Matt is still out of his deranged mind, but he wants to end this tonight. Jeff calls Matt to the ring. Matt appears in the rafters, and they trade promos. Jeff grabs a table, but Matt challenges him to come to fight with honor. Jeff runs up, and they start brawling up high. Ruby Sky appears and sprays Jeff with a fire extinguisher. Matt ends up sliding Jeff down the railing to the floor into a table. Still to come segment, more title matches. Back to commercial. Back from the break, and Matt Hardy reveals that he will face Jeff in a 6 Sides of Steel match next week. TNA X Division title match, Trevor Lee versus Eddie Edwards. We go to the ring, and out comes Trevor Lee with Shane Helms. With the Helms Dynasty. New TNA X Division champion, Eddie Edwards, was out next. Lee nails Eddie with a kick on the floor and brings him in the ring as the bell rings. Lee gets a quick 2 count back and forth throughout the match. Edwards ends up taking Helms out on the floor. He comes back in with a Boston knee party to the face for the win. Well, Trevor Lee says, I saw the match myself, and Eddie Edwards won the match, and then celebrated. But this report says Trevor Lee won the match, and then after the match, Edwards celebrated. I think it was a typo. That's why I watch it too. We get hype for tonight's Hall of Fame announcement. Back to commercial. And I was reading some Twitter and some Facebook comments on this, and the show actually ended 20 minutes early on the replay. And it came on 5 minutes prior to the hour. We get more hype for tonight's Hall of Fame announcement. Back to commercial. Backstage segment with Bromance plugging Big Brother coming to Pop TV. Then they think they can use a bunch of cameras in the Impact Zone to win the TNA Tag Titles. They use it to take a peek at Raquel's dressing room. Lashley approaches EC3 backstage. Lashley tells EC3 to watch close to what he does to Galloway tonight because the same thing will happen to him too. Lashley walks off, but EC3 tells him he's coming. We go to the ring, and TNA roster is on the stage. Dixie Carter comes to the ring for the TNA Hall of Fame announcement. Dixie talks about how proud she is to establish the Hall of Fame. She says TNA is entering their 15th year and gets a pop. 15 years and only like 5 inductions into the Hall of Fame. She thanks the men and women who helped build the company. And she says the next inductee came to TNA looking for an opportunity, but found a family. She says this individual has defined a division and raised the bar so high that she changed how people look at the sport. Dixie announced Gail Kim as a 2016 Hall of Fame inductee. Gail looks surprised and makes her way to the ring. They air a nice video package for Gail. We come back to fans chanting, "Thank you, Gail," to her. Dixie praises her for creating the greatest women's wrestling division and says she will go down as one of the greatest women in the sport. Dixie then confirms the induction will take place during Bound for Glory weekend. She hands the mic over to Gail, and fans chant for her again. Gail thanks the fans and says she's so humbled right now. She's so appreciative of Dixie and the company giving her the platform to do what she does best, performing in the ring. Gail says she's got into the business because she loves wrestling. She's fortunate to have a 16-year career, and that's because of TNA. She thanks TNA, Dixie, and all the girls she's ever worked with. She wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. Dixie raises Gail's arm, and the music hits as they exit with the roster looking on. And some of them just shake her hand, some of them give them hugs. And she just walks by one of the bromans. Doesn't even shake his hand. He doesn't even offer. He acts like he's got to just gives her the nose up. And then he announces the show. And we see other wrestlers greeting Gail back on the stage. Tag team champions, the Decay, are backstage about their victory they're about to get tonight. Back to commercial. JB is backstage with Marty Bell, who calls Jade to lose the knockout title at Slammiversary. Marty is upset about Jade winning the title, forgetting about their friendship. Jade appears and attacks Marty as she was doing an interview, leaving her laying. Tag team title match, the Tribunal versus Grado and Mohabali. Shera versus the Bromans versus the Decay. We go to ring. Out comes TNA Tag Team Champions, Abyss and Crazy Steve and Rosemary. We see Jesse Goddard, who is the guy who just up-nosed Gail Kim. Robbie E., Basil Baraka, Baron Dax, Grado, and Shera at ringside. Also, Raquel are also at ringside. Dax started off with Shera. The Decay ended up retaining after a bunch of chaos, which was nothing more than, I think it was the ending of the match had Abyss giving the Black Hole Slam on his tag team partner on top of the opponent. And they got the pinfall. Maria Kanellis and Mike Bennett backstage. They're upset about how they were treated on Sunday. And Gail Kim going into the Hall of Fame. Mike says he has their bags packed and to walk out. But Maria has a better idea. The men in the ring. Back to commercial. We come back and Jeff Hardy accepts Matt's challenge for a 6 sides of steel to end their feud next week. We go to the ring. Out comes Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis. Bennett starts ripping on the fans, saying the company was in desperate need of a hero, and he was that hero. But no matter what he did or gave the fans, he never was appreciated. Then Bennett talks about he's a celebrity everywhere he goes. Maria takes the mic and gets a big heat as she talks about how they came to TNA to save the company. She says everything is a conspiracy by TNA management, who does not want to see them succeed. Bennett called Dixie to the ring to take the loss from the record books so he can be the hero TNA needs. Billy Corrigan's music hits, and out he comes instead. Corrigan says he loves them both, and they're the future of the company, but he's not doing business like this. Corrigan says one of his assistants will set up a meeting at any time they want. Bennett says he doesn't do meetings. The ring is a boardroom. Bennett says he's not mad. He's just disappointed. Maria says Dixie sent Corrigan to do her dirty work, but she needs to bring her butt out and handle her own work. The music hits and out comes Dixie to the ring. Maria runs her mouth to Dixie. Dixie tells her to shut up and says that they're live tonight and Maria is wasting time, that they could be wrestling. Dixie says Maria has a 0 one-on-one match since coming in. She said the fans are sick and tired of hearing Maria talk. Dixie tells them to send an email and set up a meeting, but they're not doing this in the ring. Maria tells Dixie to start pointing fingers at herself because she's the problem. Maria says she could run the show better than Dixie. Maria asks Billy to agree and says that the three of them always talk and have good ideas, but Dixie just wants to shut her up. Maria goes on and back Dixie up by jabbing her finger at her. Dixie slaps Maria right in the face of the mat. Corrigan stands with Maria and Bennett as Dixie leaves the ring. Still to come the segment, Lashley versus Gallows. Back to commercial. Back for the break, and it's time for the main event. EC3 joins Pope and Josh on commentary. World Heavyweight title match, Drew Galloway versus Bobby Lashley. We go to the ring, out comes Drew Galloway for a Slammiversary rematch. TNA World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley was out next. Bell rings, and Lashley immediately goes for taped up ribs. Galloway fights back and ends up hitting German suplexes into the ropes. Galloway was chopped in the corner. Now as we go back to commercial. Back for the break, Galloway fights Lashley outside the ring with chops. Lashley drops Galloway over the barrier and breaks the count. Lashley steps on Galloway and sends him onto the steel steps. Lashley then drops Galloway's ribs onto the apron. Lashley brings him back in the ring and they go back to the floor. Lashley stops to talk trash to EC3, but Galloway takes advantage and attacks. Lashley counters and whips Galloway face first into the ring post. Lashley brings him back in with a big suplex. He exposes Galloway's injured ribs and readies for a spear. Galloway counters and goes for an armbar, but Lashley quickly makes it to the bottom rope. Lashley turns it back around and stands tall. He goes for another suplex, but it's blocked. Galloway drops Lashley with a neck breaker, and both men are down. Lashley misses in the corner, and Galloway goes up top. Lashley catches him in midair for a crossface. It's broken when they trade counters. Galloway hits a pile driver for a close 2 count. They end up on the top again. Galloway nails a super Celtic cross for another 2 count. Referee ends up going down with a Claymore kick from Galloway. Lashley hits the spear, but the referee is down. Lashley picks up Galloway, smiles, and hits another spear. Lashley brings a steel chair in the ring, but EC3 stops him. They have words, and EC3 nails the clothesline. They fight, and then Lashley sends EC3 to the floor. He brings the chair back in, but Lashley moves, and EC3 hits Galloway over the back with a chair. Lashley then spears EC3 out of the ring. Another referee runs in as Lashley applies the triangle on Galloway for the win. As the referee is watching this and pulling the chair out of the ring, and then does the finish of the match. After the match, Lashley celebrates with the title. Matthews just called this an extended episode, but it's ending 20 minutes early, apparently. And after that, EC3 got up and gave Lashley the 1%er to end the show. And that concludes the TNA portion of this video. Take a quick drink. Next results, thanks to PW Insider, CZW. Combat Zone Wrestling held its annual tournament of death on Saturday on June 11th at the Markland Acre Farms in Townsend, Delaware. This is the farmland that CZW owner DJ Hyde's parents owned. Tournament was meant to be one of the better tournaments presented by CZW in the last few years. And here's the results of the show. Fans bring their weapons. Ricky Shane Page defeated Tim Donst. Lots of brawling all over the place, some of which was hard to follow given the sight lines. Dunst was busted open. Barbed wire matches match. Connor Clayson defeated Masada after a pile driver on top of a cinder block. Clayson was busted open big time, and they did the spot where Clayson was skewered with an acupuncture needle, or some needles. It was said to have been one of the better Masada bouts of late. Light tube death match. Alex Colon beat Danny Havoc. Havoc was way over with the crowd by Colon. Won them over with all the abuse he took. The amount of the light tubes was used was said to be incredibly brave or stupid, depending on your perspective. Colon kicked a flaming light tube bundle into Havoc and then broke another set over him for the win. Matt Tremont defeated Jeff Cannonball in a home run derby match after powerbombing Cannonball onto a trash can that was standing upright in a sick-looking spot. Cannonball had a Kenzen beaten into his head, which was gruesome. Aaron Williams defeated Ron Mathis in a Rockstar Pro Showcase bout after a pile driver off the ropes. And this was said to be doomed by being placed on the show where it was and didn't get over with the live crowd. Semifinals, barefoot, bed of nails, broken light tubes, and burning hot coals. Ricky Shane Page defeated Connor Claxton. Didn't hear much about this. In a sharp death match, Matt Tremont defeated Alex Colon. Lots of brawling all over the place. Light tubes and carpet tacks were used. Lucky 13 and Devon Moore defeated G. Raver and Dale Patrick after Moore nailed a Death Valley driver off a scaffold on Dale, crashing down onto the Raver, trapped underneath a barbed wire board. Patrick was said to have been really impressive with the crowd and worked hard. The company did an angle where owner DJ Hyde was literally buried. He was wrestling Josh Crane with former owner John Zandig and BLK out, a staple of the Zandig era of the company, showed up with a construction truck and told Hyde that he was to give up the company, or they were burying him. Hyde refused and was beaten up. They used the digger to dig a grave and tossed Hyde in and then dumped all the dirt on top of him. Ricky Shane Page defeated Matt Tremont in the finals, which was said to have been off the charts, if you like the style. Glass was flying everywhere as they beat the hell out of each other with the tubes. The finish was said to be insane, with Page giving Tremont a DVDR off a scaffold into the ring onto a table covered in light tubes. This set up Tremont defending the CZW title against him in July. And the next results, thanks to PW Insider and Bill Bodkin of WrestlePro. WrestlePro presented a special WrestlePro vs. Global Force Wrestling show in the gym of St. Joseph in Keyport, New Jersey on Saturday, June 11th. The venue was quite advantageous for those who purchased Georgia tickets, as there is a balcony which overlooks the gym floor. The balcony seats are naturally elevated, so your line of sight is perfect. Pre-show, doors opened, and there was a myriad of wrestlers signing autographs. Many of them were holdovers from the Legends of the Ring convention in Monroe, New Jersey. Earlier in the day, appearing were Booker T, Stevie Ray, Tatanka, Eddie Edwards, Rob Conway, Amber O'Neil, that's Luke Gallows' wife, the Natural Butch Reed, and later on, Kevin Sullivan and the franchise Shane Douglas. There were a few others I didn't recognize: Damon Sandow, Jeff and Karen Jarrett, Colt Cabana, Sanjay Dutt, Brian Myers, Hornswoggle, and numerous GWF and WrestlePro performers were also signing autographs and selling their merchandise. Match number 1, Bull James versus Danny Math. This was your classic big man match, with each man trading power moves. Bull hit his signature flying splash, but Math powered out. Bull went for the classic 10 count punch in the corner, but Math surprisingly yells, "Keep hitting me," right after he slides underneath. Bull hits an awesome burning hammer for the win. Match number 2, Johnny Clash versus Chris Avery. Quelling. Short match with Quelling being crazy in the ring and leveling Clash with a lariat to the back to the head, which Chris Avery Quelling won. Match number 3, WrestlePro Tag Title match. Gino and JJ Blake with Booker T. What? Booker T managing Team España of Jose Fernandez and Joe's B. Fernandez versus Aesthetic Males of Damian Gibbs and Mike Bell with Buff the Stuff Bagwell in their corner. Well, Dylan Stiffwood and Jay Enterprise versus the Taboo Crew of Sand E Man and Craig Steele, the tag team champions. This was a lot of young guys trying really, really hard work in the ring. Some spots connected wonderfully, others not so much. Still a fun match to get into. Booker T's guys with seasoning could be good In the end, Taboo Crew took the win, with Craig Steele cleaned house, and the duo hit their spike greetings from Asbury Park. Not their name, obviously. Winner, Taboo Crew retaining their titles. Match number 4, World Warrior Chris Dickinson versus Too Cocky Kevin Matthews. Pretty fun match with both men knocking each other around. Dickinson is on the verge of breaking out to be a big star. Matthews, the hometown favorite, ends up scoring the victory with his impressive ego driver finisher. After the match, Monsters Island of Leatherface and Twisty the Clown came out to the American Horror Story theme. They began to attack Kevin Matthews until Craven Varro returned to WrestlePro to a huge pop. The two ward off the Monsters, who leave a dejected. Interview from Zeb Coulter, formerly of WWE fame, still walking gingerly from his injured leg, cut a promo on the importance of voting, and then asked if the crowd was supporting Trump or Clinton. Despite being in the largely Democratic state of New Jersey, this was a decided pro-Trump. Zeb joked that Trump stole his gimmick. Before he could leave Team Global Force Wrestling, Brian Myers, New Heavenly Bodies, Chris Payne come out to confront and threaten Zeb. This was until Team WrestlePro of Fallabon, CPA, Hornswoggle, and the Merry Men coming out, brandishing plastic swords and chasing them out of the ring, allowing Zeb to leave. Match number 5, elimination match. Team GFW versus Team WrestlePro. This was a fairly entertaining Survivor Series style match. Hornswoggle was the most impressive in this match, as he really had his work boots on. There was plenty of comedy from CPA. Probably one of the better gimmicks in WrestlePro. The only weird part came when Myers was spiked by a hooded man who was hiding in the crowd. The live audience didn't seem to connect with the spot. And here's the order of elimination. Brian Myers was gone first, Chris Payne second, Flash Bond third, Adam Merriman, Steve Merriman, Desirable Dustin, third member of NHB. I apologize for not getting his name, according to the reporter. Gigolo, Justin, and the survivors were CPA and Hornswoggle. Now just calling his name Swoggle. Set up a 6-way match for Sanjay Dutt's GFW Next Generation title was announced. 5 competitors have been announced, but there will be a gauntlet to determine the sixth entrant. 4 WrestlePro participants of Mario Baccara, Nikos Ricos, Habib from the Car Wash, and Bobby Wayward stand around the ring. Match number 6, gauntlet for the 6th spot in the Next Gen match. Participants Ronald Kingsley, Delroy Alexander, Kyle Reynolds, Caleb Conley, Beefcake Charlie, Adam Brooks. Order of elimination, Kingsley by Alexander, Reynolds by Alexander. Alexander was eliminated by Conley. Conley eliminated by Beefcake. Brooks eliminated by Beefcake. Thoughts of the match? This was fun. Delroy Alexander has a really bright future ahead of him. Caleb Conley was great, and hopefully TNA will use him properly. Beefcake Charlie got over pretty well, and he was very impressive for a big man. Match number 7, GFW Next Gen title match. 6-way match, Sanjay Dutt versus Habib versus Beefcake Charlie, who was added to the matches in the previous match. Mario Baccara versus Bobby Wayward versus Nikos Ricos. Pretty short and chaotic match. It was too fast for our audience to get into. It did feature a cool multi-man German suplex spot. Sanjay rolled up Charlie for a quick and illegal win with a handful of tights. WrestlePro title match was match number 8. Anthony Bowens, champion, versus Matt McIntosh. Easily the best wrestling match of the night. McIntosh and Bowens are impressive as hell. And it's only a matter of time before some bigger promotions start looking at them both. There were some great catch-as-can counters throughout the match. Some impressive high spots. And there's a great chemistry between both men. Winner of the match was Anthony Bowens retaining his title. Match number 9, Colt Cabana for GFW versus Damian Sandow, who is in action. One of his 90-day no-compete clause. What's up? From WB. The hype for this match was off the charts. Surprisingly, Cabana was a heel for this match, as Sandow could really do no wrong. Both Cabana and Sandow did the Mizdow mirror of each other's movements. In fact, that was the majority of the match. Cabana was still able to hit the flying apple and a double jump splash. Meanwhile, Sandow hit his elbow of disdain and a roll up out of nowhere to win the match. Thoughts on the match? It's sad that most of the audience didn't know what Sandow's finisher was. Seriously, when was the last time he used it? While the match was good and some had some good chuckles, the hype was too high, and the time for the match was shorter than it should have been. After the match, Sandow got on the mic and asked Cabana not to leave. Sandow recounts their friendship and then asks Colt to cartwheel with him. They did to the enjoyment of the audience. Sandow thanks everyone in the audience and admits that he might not be wrestling for too much longer, so he wanted to thank everyone in attendance for supporting him. Main event, Jeff Jarrett versus Pat Buck. This was a fun cage match. The crowd energy had been waning throughout the show due to the humidity in the venue, despite having AC, but they were hot for the main event. Buck, the owner of WrestlePro, came out in his Cactus Pat persona. Jarrett got hot early on when the crowd broke out in slapnut chant. Buck had the match won, but the referee stopped the match and revealed himself as a GFW referee, which allowed Jarrett to score a quick pin for the win. WrestlePro ref came out and said, since this is a WrestlePro show, only a WrestlePro ref could count the pinfall. He leveled the GFW ref. Buck gained control, but Team GFW, Myers, Heavenly Bodies, Sanjay Dutt, and Payne came out to attack Buck. The WrestlePro locker room, emptied of Math, Fala, Matthews, etc., come to help out Buck. Buck ascends to the top of the cage and leads on to everyone. Buck pins Jarrett shortly afterwards for the win. Thoughts on that? Pat Buck is a man's man. He did not have much room for error with a jump off the top of the cage, but he went for it. He was a very Memphis plunderific match, but fun for sure. Overall thoughts, this was a fun and independent show all around. Not every match clicked, but at the end of the day, this was a just fun night out for everybody and their entire family. The promotion's ability to mix big name talent like Sandow and Jarrett with the homegrown guys is one of their biggest strengths. Performers like Bowens and McIntosh definitely have a bright future for themselves. The next results, thanks to PW Cider and Jake Mann for the New England Championship Wrestling Iron 8 tournament over the weekend in Waltham, Massachusetts. In a student versus teacher match, the fittest man, Dan Terrier, managed by Mr. Tony Ulysses, beat the teacher, Bo Douglas. Opening round Iron 8 matches, NECW Heavyweight Champion and 2015 Iron 8 winner, the Masshole, Mike McCarthy, pinned TJ Warren. Victory Championship Wrestling, Kevin Tibbs defeated Jay Freddy. Toto Loco pinned NECW Television Champion Pure Talent, Chris Escobar. Slick Ragnar Brown defeated Brad Hollister. So all four winners advance to the main event. The Giant Pharaoh defeated Jack Maverick by countout. Maverick is one half of the NECW Tag Team Champions, the Regulators, with James Maddox, and they had the World's Women's Wrestling Champion, Nikki Valentine, with them. In the Iron 8 finals, Toto Loco scored 3 falls to win the 4-way 45-minute Iron Man match, defeating Mike McCarthy 2 falls, Slick Ragnar Brown 1 fall, and Kevin Tibbs 1 fall. The Iron 8 final was loaded with wild action that at times spelled out all over the building. All 4 men in the final tore it up. The finish of the finals was Toto Loco tying McCarthy and then scoring the go-ahead fall on the champion with 20 seconds left in the 45-minute bout. Everything on the show was very good. Beyond the main event, McCarthy versus Warren and Tibbs versus Freddie were both hard-hitting, strong bouts. Promotion announced that there would be a women's Iron 8 this summer. Later on, and WrestleMerica results from PW Cider and Chris Zellner. Also on June 11th, from Barnesville Academy Gym in Barnesville, Georgia, drawing around 250 fans. Intergender match, America Strong defeated Scotty Beach. David Tita defeated Johnny Nix in a fine match. First blood match, Iceberg defeated Scotty Bullwinkle after shanking him bloody. Wonder if he's got a brother of Rocky. Never mind. If you're not a cartoon fan, well, you won't get that one. WrestleMerica heavyweight title match. Tyson Dean defeated Zane Stevens by disqualification. When Stevens' manager, the president of WrestleMerica, Michael Griffey, attacked Dean. The match had to be restarted as Dean accidentally hit the referee, Harold Martin. Then Dean pinned Stevens with the second referee, D.L. Norris, running out to make the count. Martin then told Norris what happened earlier, and they restarted the match. Stevens retained the title. The Gorillas of Destiny of Tama Tonga and Tongaloa beat the Bruiserweights of Corey Hollis and John Schuyler in 14 minutes of a fun match. Next show was advertised as July the 9th for Gangrel's debut. Thanks to BW Cider for Ring of Honor Night 2 results. Cheeseburger defeating Danny Dugan from CWE in Canada. Steve Corino cut a promo on kicking BJ Whitmer's ass in 12 days. Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, The Addiction, defeated Juice Robinson and Kamatachi. Dalton Castle defeated Will Ferreira. Motor City Machine Guns defeated Moose and Leo Rush. Donovan Jijak with Prince Nana defeated Trent Beretta. Kyle O'Reilly defeated ACH. Michael Elgin and Roger Strong in a four-way match. They did an angle where BJ Whitmer announced Steve Corino was in an accident backstage. Corino was dragged out with a bag over his head and his hands tied. He was laid at Whitmer's feet, and Whitmer told Corino that he is the one who is evil. War Machine defeated Jared Jackson and Kurt Stallion. Bobby Fish defeated Rocky Romero. Beer City Bruiser and Silas Young defeated the Briscoes and All Night Express. Addiction attacked Bruiser and Young afterwards, but they made the comeback and chased the champions off. Ring of Honor champion Jay Lethal and Colt Cabana defeated the Young Bucks to end the show. And that concludes my Indie Feds results for this week, along with 10A Wrestling live show, supposedly live, with the network screw-up of the event. Well, thanks again. Peace out to one of you. If you don't know, just comment, brothers and sisters.